In the modern world, the words fascism and Nazism are often used simply as synonyms for the word bad. Fascist and Nazi are labels. They get attached to anyone someone dislikes. This often works. People throw these words around and no one really understands what they mean. Let's clarify. Fascism as a political ideology emerges in Italy, and the first fascist regime based on this ideology also appears in Italy, lasting from 1922 to 1945. This must be kept in mind to avoid confusion. Fascism has a very specific temporal and regional context. Initially, it is a purely Italian phenomenon, created by Italians for Italy. Later, political forces in other countries took fascist ideas as a basis, dropped some elements, added others, and created their own versions of fascism. Thus, in the narrow sense, fascism should be understood as the ideology and political regime that existed in Italy from 1922 to 1945. In the broad sense, it refers to any ideologies and regimes similar to what took place in Italy at that time. Italy at the beginning of the 20th century cannot boast major achievements. Its economy is not among the leading ones, and it is clearly not a world power. World War I takes place, and its outcome does not fully satisfy Italy, but it cannot change anything due to its limited political weight. Many people feel dissatisfied with the situation. On the one hand, this is the case. On the other, there is an attractive image of a great Italy, with a culture admired and respected by all, with a grand past that included an empire and something close to world dominance. For many Italians at the time, the picture looks like this. There is our beautiful Italy, which deserves the best, but it's clearly in decline now. Against this background, intellectuals and political forces appear who claim they know how to restore former greatness. What they propose? Anti-liberalism. Fascism is completely opposed to liberalism. Fascists propose rejecting the principle of individualism because the nation is all of us taken together, a collective. The interests of this collective come first. Freedom of speech and personal freedom are not unconditional. Capitalism must serve national interests, not private ones. That is, the market must be regulated. Totalitarianism. The state controls all spheres of society, manages everything, and directs everyone, because this is necessary for the good of the nation. Outside the state, nothing and no one exists. Hierarchy. Everyone must know their place. All lower levels obey higher ones without question. This creates discipline and coordination. No one debates much. No one argues. All orders are carried out precisely. The nation prospers. Fascism is characterized by a belief in a strong national leader who works only for the good of the nation and effectively embodies it. He's often called the leader. Censorship and political repression of dissent are also typical. There are always elements in society that disagree with the state's position. These elements must be eliminated because they divide people. Finally, fascism is characterized by an aggressive foreign policy. Fascists typically want either to create or to restore an empire, because this meets the aspirations of the nation. We recall that the nation is the highest value. By its nature, it seeks to be strong, independent, and great. Nothing is too costly for it, so building an empire appears logical. And empires can only be large and powerful. There are no small and weak empires. All of this follows directly from the basic principles of fascism, and, from the fascists' point of view, is good, because it promotes the strengthening, unity, and prosperity of the nation. So if you personally consider the nation the highest value, and believe that everyone should be ready to sacrifice everything for its good, if you are skeptical of liberalism, think that those in power know better, believe that the state should be led by a strong, decisive leader, and consider building an empire to be right, then you are a fascist. Do not hesitate to admit it. Let's move on to Nazism. Nazism is a type fascism. Nazism emerged in the same period, the 1920s to 1940s, but in Germany. National Socialism shares the basic principles of fascism, that is, anti-liberalism, totalitarianism, and hierarchy. This is why it is a branch of it, but it adds some new ideas and shifts the emphasis. Nazism proposes ideas of racial superiority, racial struggle, and racial purity. There are higher and lower races. The former are masters, the latter are slaves. All of history is a struggle between higher and lower races for survival. In essence, they are different biological species, so mixing them leads to the degradation of the higher race, which is unacceptable. The Nazis declared Aryans to be the higher race. The Germanic peoples are their direct descendants. The lower race is Semitic. Its descendants are the Jews. Hence another characteristic feature of Nazism, anti-Semitism. Like the Italian fascists, the Nazis oppose communism, pacifism and liberalism, but not only because these doctrines do not serve the good of the nation, but also because they are, in their view, Jewish in essence. Who was Karl Marx? What percentage of Jews was there in the Bolshevik Party? Trotsky is Bronstein, Kamenev is Rosenfeld, Zinoviev is Ovsey Gersh Aronovich Radomyslsky. Liberalism is the ideology of the bourgeoisie, bankers and traders. And what nationality are they usually? Pacifism is also part of a Jewish conspiracy, because this is how Jews supposedly try to lull the Aryans' vigilance and mix with them. The Nazis place even greater emphasis on militarism and war as a constant feature of life. Again, from the logic of this ideology, this is predictable. If history is understood as a battle of races, then one must always be ready to fight. The Nazis also take the leader principle to the extreme. In 1935, the propaganda film Triumph of the Will is released. At the end, Hess says, "The party is Hitler. Hitler is Germany, just as Germany is Hitler." Thus, if you share the basic principles of fascism, believe in racial struggle, and are convinced that Jews are the source of all evils, then you are a Nazi. Do not hesitate either. Critical remarks. They are very brief. For any reasonably sane person, fascism in all its forms is evil. Nazism is absolute evil. These ideas are insane, and their implementation leads to animal hatred, monstrous victims, and complete dehumanization.